Hello, everyone, and as always, welcome to a scintillating episode of Strategy Gaming Dojo. And today we get back into Gary Grigsby's War in the Pacific, much like your favorite pillow, slipping into those comfortable pair of jeans. Whatever the case may be, this is like getting home. We are back in War in the Pacific. This is where I feel comfortable. Now, I feel comfortable in War in the East, of course, as well. Love that game. We're playing War in the East 2 on the channel. What a treat. What a treat that is to have a new Grigsby game. War in the East 2. I've been loving it, and I've been loving playing it. We have had a stream issue or two, so I will be using you all as guinea pigs. Now, not like the US government has used people like guinea pigs in the past. I will not be blowing Agent Orange into your face and seeing how you react. Instead, I will be trying to get these streaming settings optimized. Again, um, is it Spectrum cable? I don't know. Is it the settings that I have? Well, I don't know. We messed around with them again. Unlike usual War in the Pacific videos, I am not over into a box in the left. I am actually on screen. I hover over like a massive Chester Nimitz over the Pacific as we look in at the Hawaiian Islands. Let's just jump into the game. You don't want to hear me talk. You want to see the game. There we are. Okay, well, I say there we are. You already saw it. We're centered over Pearl. We are going to go out to Pearl this time. But before we do that, I want to go up and down the West Coast and over into Alaska. Now, I say before we do that, you know how my episodes usually go. We go down a rabbit hole somewhere over here, like San Francisco or Vancouver or something like that. And the next thing you know, an hour has flown by. That's just how it is in this game. There's a lot to talk about, a lot to take in. And so, let's start at LA, our main hub on the West Coast. Let's see what we've got going on. I think we have a good idea. At the end of last episode, we sort of checked this out, but I did see these ASW, these destroyers had finally come into port here at LA. Now I say LA on this one, I named it ASW LA San Diego. Why don't we go ahead and actually station these guys down in San Diego, and we'll have them run ASW there, and these guys we'll call ASW LA. All right, check it out. There we go. Now let's set up a patrol zone outside of LA. And again, now, for the most part, you see a lot of the concentric circles of our flight patterns, but I always kind of use them a little bit. So let's do the first part of LA, maybe here. And then we'll do the second part, maybe here. And finally, number 3, we'll come back up here close to the port itself, maybe there. So we'll just be running that ASW there. We'll go back, we'll set the react. We've got it on 3. That's good. That's good. These guys have an awesome endurance. It's 8,000. Fantastic. They've only got a 2 ASW. I will bunch them together. I generally like to have 2 destroyers together once we get enough destroyers. Now, we don't have enough right now, but we're going to be getting more soon coming up this way. They're coming through the Panama Canal from the East Coast at this moment, so we will be getting more. And when we do, we'll be in a little better shape. Now, not in great shape when it comes to ASW, but a little better shape. So why do I like to have these bunched together? Well, if one spots a Japanese sub or makes contact with it, the other one can, help. And maybe that sub doesn't get away. I don't know. Does it make a big difference? I don't know. I don't know if it does or not. That's how I play the game. I would rather have 2 there, so you just don't have that one lone destroyer by itself. You have another one that can come over. They can help each other out and maybe bag ourselves a Japanese sub. The Japanese start off the game not with a lot of subs, and they really don't replace them at a very good clip. And so the more, if you can take one out, that's almost like a permanent loss, unlike us as the Allies, who's getting subs all the time. Now, the one that's going down to San Diego will cover kind of the other area around that circle, maybe all the way out to here, and then it'll come back here by San Diego. And that will give us a lot of in-deep coverage here for ASW. Japanese players, especially human players, love to park subs. Now, we've got that on 2. I'll bump it up to 3. These guys have good endurance. Looks like they'll be able to make about 8 or 9 revolutions of that patrol area before they'll need some fuel. So great. That looks good. That makes me happy to get this ASW out there. It's so important. We don't have a lot of it at the start of the game, and so you've got to really apportion it to the important places. And it doesn't get more important than the stuff coming out of LA and either going to our smaller islands or directly to Pearl Harbor. Now, we've got 8 ships in port. What are they? We've got a bunch of cargo. We've got our ACM, which will stay here. That's tending to the mines that are in the port of Los Angeles. So we've got 4 AKs. This one's actually a pretty dang good ship. It's got a 14 speed. I wish it had more capacity, but it's got a huge endurance. That really could make its way all the way to Australia if we wanted to. We also have a couple, well, I say a couple, we've got 3 APs out here, including the Queen Elizabeth, which you see grayed out. That's because I initially put it into the shipyard to get repaired, realized it was going to take too long to do that, and now we've got it back out. Right now it's in readiness mode, so if we do want to ship out with it, it's going to take 16 days, and you see the asterisk here, or it's not an asterisk, it's a pound sign. You see the pound sign saying that will not take care of our 1 major damage here. So we have 1 damage overall to the engines, 1 major. I don't even know. I was going to make up a story of what that means, but really what it means is we've got very little damage to it, but what we have is considered major damage. Now, why that would be 1%, I don't know. It's 1 point, let's put it that way. But we can pull this out anytime we want, and we do have some things, I think, that we want to move on. Okay, this unit, the 161st Infantry Regiment, is ticketed for Nomaya. Okay. The harbor defenses, we have some AA here for LA. That's all normal. 108th Infantry is here. Now we have something else. This is ticketed for Brisbane. It's field artillery. Okay. This, we have the future objective as Seattle. I'm not exactly sure why. This is attached to the Pacific Fleet, so we can take it off the continental U.S. for no charge. I think we want to send as much AA out to the Pacific as we can, so I think we may go ahead and grab that. And then we've got a motor infantry unit that is locked to the West Coast, and we've just got it sitting here at LA. So we do have 3 units that we could possibly move. This Seattle one, let's see if we have AA up in Seattle already. I would think we would. Yeah, we've got a lot of AA up here, as a matter of fact. This one's ticketed for Dutch Harbor, though. That one for Attic. And this one is Seattle. So we've got one that's going to stay in Seattle. I actually think we'll take that one that's out in LA and put it into this task force that we're going to build. Now, this may end up being 2 task forces, and the reason being is the Queen Elizabeth can really scoot. That's 30 knots out there, my friends. These 2 are at 22. That's not bad. So we'll put these 2 together into a transport task force. Let's get those 2 APs. Where'd they run off to? There they are. Right there. Okay. Done. Now then, what are we going to do here? We have the 1 unit that goes to Nomaya. Let's actually look at their cargo hold. Okay, they've got plenty. They've got plenty for troop and cargo here. So, what are we going to do? Well, let's dock it, We need it docked, and let's load up troops and see what we have here. We have Nomaya, Brisbane, Seattle. Well, we're not going to Seattle with that one now. I think I'll take it to Nomaya with this 161st, and then the one that's going to Brisbane, it seems like a waste to put that on the Queen Elizabeth. I'd rather it be a big, huge infantry unit that we load onto the Elizabeth. I mean, historically, that's what it was for. That's right, Arthur. None of their crap. I really, while I was offline there, I went into OBS, Streamlabs OBS. That's what I use. Here, I'm going to make myself just slightly bigger. I'm over the mini map this time. I went into Streamlabs OBS, and I've got it exactly how they say to set it up. Yeah, that's right, Hugo Perez. The U.S. subs, the Mark 14 torpedo is not good, as you referenced there. That is true. So until 43, we have got dud torpedoes. Luckily, the Dutch subs are good, and they have good torpedoes. For early in the war, they're good, for sure. All right, I'm going to take these two. I'm going to go ahead and say verify the load. Now it's telling me that the Coastal Regiment cannot get on here. What? What? Okay, let's take it back. Let's make sure it doesn't load up at all. Let's go look at the Coastal Regiment. Oh, interesting. Okay, from that screen, it doesn't tell you what its load cost is. This is a different kind of screen. Weird. I've never really paid attention to that before. Okay, let's look at this bad boy again. It needs 1220 in cargo, 150 in troop. All right. This needs 2295 in just cargo. The 161st Regiment. Oh, this is not built up yet. Huh. That's because we haven't released any of this stuff. We're stockpiling it. I think that's why it's not building up. Interesting, interesting. Okay. Well, we may have to rectify that. In the meantime, then, we're going to go back down to this task force I just built, and we're going to take one of the ships out. I guess it doesn't matter so much. They're identical ships. Let's take the Monterey out, and we'll just have the Matsonia here. That Matsonia now it's still docked. We'll load troops. Let's put the AA Regiment in here. Let's verify that load. Okay, that all looks good. And let's send this bad boy to, where do we want it to go? Let's go to Pago. Transport Pago. Okay, excellent. I'm tempted to have a destroyer lead it out, but I think we're probably okay. We will have these destroyers out here running. So let's fly around here to Pago. Wow, my mini-map work was not stellar there. There's Fiji. Get up here, Guadalcanal. I've got to get reoriented. There's Pago. All right, we'll send it out to Pago. We'll give it a different waypoint here. So let's go use waypoint, set waypoint 1. Let's go south, out and around. Well, obviously we're going out and around Hawaii, but let's also go out and around the Marquesas Islands out here, and then it'll go straight out to Pago. When we get there, we do not want it to refuel, and we'll just have it come back to LA, but let's also turn on for it to come back the same route. Oh, it's not going to quite make it. Interesting. Wow, I'm running into some, Well, this will be the first time then that we actually do this maneuver, which is have it get a quick refuel at Tahiti. All right, so now that's waypoint 1. We'll do a minimal refuel at Tahiti, on both routes, and so that it should have enough fuel to get there. We do want it to unload. Let's make sure, yeah, unload your cargo there. Do not refuel. Okay, that all looks good. We'll save the Queen Elizabeth for that infantry. I'm going to have to go into the stockpiles and release some of those things and set these guys up for replacements. As a matter of fact, let's go ahead. Oh, we do have replacements on, so it is a stockpile issue. You know what? Until we move them, let's put them in combat mode. I just don't off the top of my head remember, can they get replacements if they're in strategic move mode? I think they can, but just in case it makes a difference, we'll come back here. All right, so this AA is what we're sending out there. We also need to set that as its objective. There's Christmas Island, so we're close to Pago. It's right there. We'll set its objective to Pago. Now that I'm doing that, I almost want to send it to Suva, but we've got other things going to Suva, so we'll be fine there. Now, what was that other unit, this artillery unit that is scheduled for Brisbane? Right. Okay, well, let's set up that other AP that is not the Elizabeth into, whoops, let's set you up into a new task force, a transport task force. And that is the Monterey, I do believe. So we'll pick the Monterey. Done. Excellent. And we'll say transport Brisbane. It's a long journey. Now this does not have enough endurance, but to go there and back, but we'll just fuel up at Brisbane, so that's fine. We'll keep that on full refuel. We're going to dock this bad boy. Let's load up some troops. And that is the 205th Battalion. Select unit. We'll verify that. Looks good. Accept load. Now we've got to jump all the way over here to Australia to Brisbane. And there is beautiful Brisbane. I'm sure it's beautiful. I've never been there. Let's again do the waypoints. And waypoint 1 we'll set out down here near Tahiti. If I can find it. It's a big island, or big island. Big map. Big map. There we go. And then we will also tell it to return by the same route. You can see it's in red here, but that's just because the full distance back and forth. I'm not sure why it's not telling us the one way. It usually does. Interesting. I don't know. It's an old quirky game sometimes. I look stretched. What? I need to go look at it. Now I want to go look at it. Give me just 1 second. I did mess around with it. Hopefully the stream itself looks good. I'm going to click on this. I'm going to see what I look like. Whoa, I am stretched. Man, looks like a strong jawline on that guy. I kid. Side to side, yeah, I see that. Well, I'm going to make it a little smaller again then. You guys don't care about me anyway. You're like, whatever. I know it's still going to be stretched. That's because the webcam is in 720p and I've got the game higher. So it'll just look like I put on a few pounds. How about that? Okay, good. I think this is going to do it. We'll see. Fingers crossed, but I think this is what we need. And also it's in the afternoon. I never have problems with Spectrum in the afternoon. All right, down that goes. Right, so we've got the Queen Elizabeth still here. We've got these cargo ships. We've got 3 of them with 1100 endurance, 3200 capacity, 12 speed. Now you can see here at Los Angeles, we have supply 74,000, we have fuel 631,000. Well, let's take as much out of here as we can to Pearl Harbor. So let's set up a cargo task force, and we'll get these 3200s in here. Done. All right, we'll dock that, and now we could do supply, we could do fuel. We've got just an absolute ton of fuel, no pun intended. We've got, as a matter of fact, 631,000 tons of it. Let's just load supply though. The only reason I'm doing that is because the capacity here is low, and so the capacity being 3,200, if you do fuel, you only get half of that, right? So it wouldn't almost be worth the trip. Barely. I mean, it would be, but it's not enough. Look at all these ships around Pearl Harbor. All right, that's going to move out to Pearl Harbor. No need to refuel it out there. And we'll just unload that cargo. That all looks good. Okay, we've got one more cargo ship that's sitting here that's got big stats, 19,300, 4550 capacity. I'm going to let that continue to sit here until some more like ships get here to LA and send them as a part of a bigger task force. All right, so that's Los Angeles. That's Port Hueneme. This is right by where I live. So if you ever wondered where the dojo is actually located, it's right between these two flags. Right between there. Beautiful Southern California. Santa Barbara, I lived there for a while as well. Santa Barbara is on a whole different level. You know, you're talking about $1 million for a one-bedroom condo in Santa Barbara. Channel Islands, beautiful. I went out and took a tour out around the Channel Islands. You can see whales, dolphins, anything you like right out there. But I'll stop being your tour guide and we'll get back to the game. Anyway, yes, this is where the dojo is located. All right, we've got ships out here. These guys are doing ASW work, and I like ASW work. You can see in and around San Francisco. Now, I guess I'll go up here to March Field for a minute. We do have fighters up here. I want to make sure they're still training. Those pilots are up to 45. These are up to 42. These are up to 45. A lot of fighters training. These are all part of 4th U.S. 4th U.S. cannot get out of the States. Well, this is actually 10th USAAF. So eventually we can move these planes out. The pilots, you know, are just training to be fighter pilots. Okay, what do we have over here? San Luis Obispo. All right, recon, level bombers. I think everything's... Oh, this one's supposed to go to LA. 160th Regiment. Okay, we'll send it to LA if that's where they want it. All right, it's on its way. We'll just have it march down there. I'm not going to... Holy smokes, I'm hearing all of these Twitch signups and follows. Thank you so much. Okay, that all looks good. We're running some ASW out here. What is this, Fort Ord? We've got a lot of stuff at Fort Ord. Historically, this is where a lot of the troops were trained on the West Coast. Now, this is supposed to be going to Dutch Harbor. Oh, I see. We're moving it up to Seattle. We'll take it from Seattle to Dutch Harbor. Sounds good. Fort Ord. This is the 3 U.S. Corps. Is that 3 or 2? It's a little blurry to me. Okay, and that's supposed to be here as well as we continue up the coast. Let's go to San Francisco, our other major hub on the western coast of the United States, and see what we got. We have got float planes. They're training naval search. That looks good. Just got to make sure they're on 100% in a 0 range. More training. Getting these pilots trained up. Recon. They're also training. Everybody here, for the most part, is training. This unit is doing ASW. Let's make sure we like it. I like that fan area. That looks pretty good. Fighter, training escort, training escort, training escort. That all looks great. What else do we have here? We have a minesweeper, a local minesweeper. We've got the DD Perkins. The Perkins just showed up here, I do believe. This is one we sent back from Pearl Harbor, so they all just arrived this turn in LA and San Francisco. It only has a 2 ASW. As you can see, it does not have radar, and so it's just not as effective ASW. Now we have two other ones here. Same idea behind these guys. They only have the 2 ASW, I believe. Let me click on that again. Yeah. And the blue, yeah, it's only got 2. And then we have even one more. The Hatfield and the Kane. Wow, we've got a lot of destroyers over here on the West Coast now. I love it. Back. Okay, they're both 2s. That's fine. Now then, how exactly am I going to use these? Well, the one that's by itself, the Perkins with the better speed, I'm going to leave it here in port, and I'm going to have it ferry task forces out from San Francisco. The other 2, we're going to have run ASW. Whoops. ASW, he said. So let's put that on ASW combat. We're going to have them run a patrol zone. So let's set the patrol zone, set boundary 1. We'll kind of go out, we'll have this one do a little further north. We'll go there. I usually make these into triangles. I don't know, maybe I'm just artistic. No, I'm definitely not that. It just makes sense to me if you have 3 points that it becomes a triangle. That may have been obvious to you already. I guess it just became obvious to me. Max React 3. Okay, that reminds me. Let's go down here to LA. Make sure these are set on ASW combat. Now that I just saw that. Okay, that works. ASW combat as its primary mission. It shouldn't matter that whether you're surface combat or anti-sub as your primary mission, but just to make sure and to keep it absolutely straight in my head, I just decided I'd like to go down there and make sure that that's set correctly. Okay, so the Perkins is here. There's the blue in the helm. We've given them a patrol zone. All right, now we have the Hatfield and not the McCoy, unfortunately. That would be fun. The Hatfields and the McCoys. ASW, SF, right. Max React 3. Let's set a patrol zone. These will go a little further south, so we'll go here to, let's say, here. And then the third leg of this stool back here. All right. Good. Wow, we're really getting some nice ASW coverage now. That always makes me feel a little better. That's ASW San Fran, ASW SF. You get the idea. All right. That all looks good to me. That all looks good. I like it. All right. Let's keep moving up the coast. What do you say? Well, before we do that, let's just make absolutely sure. Mare Island, combat Mare Island, we've got that where we want it. All of these things are getting sorted out now, and you just don't have to spend as much time with them. Sacramento, we're in Sacramento. Now, there's no reason to have 2 base forces in Sacramento. I'll have to go check that. We do have this infantry unit here as well. We'll check that out at some point. Now, what's this ship up to? This is an airplane tender in Eureka. Okay, do we have it remaining on station? Retirement allowed. No, it's tethered to Eureka. All right, well, I guess eventually we can move some seaplanes down there if we want to. That's Eureka. Now this is strategic move. Let's move that over to combat. Let's move that over to combat. They are where they are supposed to be. Just in case the Japanese get any ideas about invading Eureka, California. Now that, would be a headline. While we're here, let's jump back here. I think that's Nope, that's Ogden, Utah. Okay, we've got more pilots training back here. Train, train, train. Excellent. Done. Oh, I meant to look in San Francisco. We've got 5 ships in port. We've got 2 ACMs. That's great. We have an AP here. Now that's interesting because let's look at these ground units again. I can't remember where the one I wanted to move is. There's one that needed to go to Dutch Harbor. Where is that? Was that back here somewhere? Was that in LA? I thought I just saw it in San Francisco. So an AA that was oh, that was in Fort Ord, was it not? Yeah, I think there's something back here that's supposed to go. There it is. All right. The 130th FA Regiment Artillery Unit. Why don't we strategic move this? Now, we were taking it to Seattle. Let's change that. Let's just take it up here to San Francisco, and we'll take it to Dutch Harbor from San Francisco. That works for me. All right. At San Francisco, what else do we have in the port that's not currently being used? So these, oh, we have these ships that are under repair, the Canadian and the Alaskan. One more day of that repair for these tenders. Okay, the more tenders, the better. Then we'll ship them out to Pearl Harbor so they can eventually be used for an invasion force. Coos Bay, combat Coos Bay, that all looks good. Corvallis, all right. Home of Oregon State University, Corvallis. That all looks fine. We've got some ASW air work going on outside of Corvallis. Let's now go up to Portland. What's happening in Portland? Training escort. All right, we're getting those pilots trained up. We've got a base force here. Oh, we've got something supposed to be going to Coos Bay. This artillery unit. It's tethered to the west coast, so in some respects, I don't, does it really matter that much? Not really, but we'll send it down here. Okay, that's going to Coos Bay. This is on strategic move. It's supposed to be going out to Tillamook. Maybe you've heard of Tillamook cheese. All right, we'll send it out to Tillamook. Okay. All right, that all looks fine. Now, what's this infantry unit up to? Strategic move to Portland. It is now here, so we'll set it to combat mode. It's tied to the west coast. We can't get that out. Okay. Astoria. What's happening in Astoria? Not a lot. Okay, we had this on move, but now it's where it's supposed to be. Combat Astoria, move Astoria, but now it's here, so we'll switch that to combat. Here on the West Coast, it gets down to all you have to worry about is LA and San Francisco, for the most part, in the southern part of the U.S. Boise has got this base force, that's fine. So we looked at Portland, we looked at Astoria, let's come up here to Tacoma. Oh, I should look, does Portland have any ships in port? Nope, it's just got a local minesweeper, and that's fine. Tacoma, we've got Naval Search, we've got training for Naval Search, we've got ASW, we've got training for ASW, more training, and more training. Excellent. We're really training a lot of pilots here in the U.S., obviously. No ships in port. Is everything in... Okay, this is supposed to go to Tacoma. Oh, I'm in Tacoma. It's supposed to go to Tacoma. You're in Tacoma, buddy. Combat Tacoma, combat Tacoma. Right. That all looks great. We have really lined everything up here. Now we get to Seattle, which has a lot happening. We actually have some British float planes up here, the Walrus 2. These are here, I believe. Yeah, I'm not sure why they're here. I was gonna say something, and I was like, is that right? I don't remember exactly why they're here. I guess in some respects it doesn't matter now. They're here, and so we've got to figure out what to do with them. All of these units are training. We're just training pilots like crazy. Now, see, the Japanese just don't have the men and material to do this, and so we end up with far superior pilots eventually. We're not anywhere near that yet, but we will, and it's going to be due to all of these units training. Okay, let's see where we go next. Oh, before I do that, I guess we should look what's actually here. We have these two destroyers. Oh, excellent. So I sent these up here as well from Pearl Harbor. We got rid of a lot of the kind of not so good destroyers at Pearl, and we sent them back here to the U.S. West Coast. They have now arrived. So let's do Patrol Zone 1 out of Seattle. So let's get up here. I'll do this one a little wider. Let's do one here for the patrol zone. So we'll do there, then maybe here, and then back up. And then I'll actually even go all the way into maybe even all the way back here just to make sure they don't try to sneak a sub by here. Now we already do have some anti-submarine work in there. We'll do a max react 3. That's fine. All right, so now they're going to be doing that patrol zone. We do have this cargo ship. It's fully loaded with nowhere to go. Now we've got plenty of supply and fuel here. Now we loaded this up with supply. Where did we want that to go? My guess is up to Alaska, although it could be... Well, before I decide that, while I'm thinking, let's look at the Corvette, the Westic one. It's got a 4 anti-sub. Nice. Okay, so we're going to send that along with this cargo. You know what? Let's go look at Alaska really quickly. Now, we're going to move up here in a minute, but let's just go see what the supply situation is in Anchorage. It's 9,000. That's not great. We've got plenty at Pearl Harbor, so why don't we go ahead and send this cargo task force up to Anchorage. Just get them some supply up there. Make sure they're in good shape. No need to have it refuel there. It'll come back down. That looks good. Call this cargo Anchorage. One sec, gotta type that in. I know you can't see those pop-ups. So there it is, the beautiful name, Cargo Anchorage. Fantastic. All right, let's look at the forces we have here. Seattle Combat, Dutch Harbor, all right. ADAC, oh, these are the ones we looked at before. Seattle, the 4th U.S. Fighter Command is up here, and then Cold Bay. All right, so we actually have 3 units we need to move, all up towards Alaska. And let's see, yeah, ships under repair. We've got the Colorado and the Warspite. And the Warspite is why we have British float planes here. I took them off the Warspite because it's damaged, it's being fixed, and they're training here. I was going to say that earlier, that's what I thought was going on, but then I was afraid I was wrong, so I didn't say it. We're also converting an AK here. About 2 more weeks on all of it, 1 week on the first 2 out, and then we'll get the Colorado and the Warspite headed towards Pearl Harbor. What do we have? Oh, we don't have any active ships here. We need some transports up here to get these units over to Alaska, so let's start looking around for transports. I know I have some. I have that one in San Francisco, but now I've got that unit coming out of Coos Bay that I'm going to use, so ASW Victoria. All right, well, let's give it a patrol zone. It's just sitting here. Set patrol zone. I'm just going to have this one go, let's say, to here. And then right back through that strait to here. So it's just going to go, having fun doing that, I'm sure. Max react, we'll bump it to 3 since we're doing such a small patrol zone. The Mugford is also only a 2. Okay. So that's actually a U.S. ship, but we've got it stationed here at Victoria Island, on Vancouver Island at Victoria. Victoria, these guys are resting and training. Again, that was because of this weird morale issue that I think we kind of determined is a way to keep you from moving the Canadians out into the Pacific. Hugo, that is correct. Japan does get new pilots every month. They're just very poorly trained, and they need them. They need them actually in battle right away. They do not have the same ability to train pilots for months and months and months like we do. Stanley, that's right, you're rewarded, my friend. You come here, you get Gary Grigsby. You just don't know what flavor. It's like going to an ice cream shop. You know you're going to get ice cream. You maybe until you get there don't know exactly which flavor you may get. This time we get Pacific. I guess it's like sea salt. It's the sea salt flavor. Yes, and a new setup. I'm right over the mini-map. My big melon is covering up Rangoon right now. Anyway, okay, so here at Victoria, we have some of these corvettes. They are actually 4s when it comes to anti-sub. It's an embarrassment of riches, gentlemen, an embarrassment. We've got a merchant cruiser that really can't do a whole lot. It has no anti-sub, of course. It's got no anti-aircraft. It has... Let's get off of this screen. Let's go back to it. Hold on. I want to look at this merchant cruiser a little bit. This aircraft capacity used, I think these were used to move planes, maybe. I think that's their ultimate use. We don't have anything that requires that right now. I'm just trying to figure out why I've got it at Victoria. There's no real reason for that. We have mined the port here at Victoria. So this AMC, I'm going to put it in a task force. What are we going to call it? Cargo? Sure. And let's go get that, the Prince Robert. And let's send it over to Seattle. And we'll just disband that task force when it gets there. So let's disband it, and then we'll figure out what to do with it from Seattle. I think I may do the same with these corvettes, as a matter of fact. Let's put them in an ASW combat, and let's put them together, and then send... I could just have them do ASW in and around here, couldn't I? All right, let's do that. ASW Victoria. These have a less of a range here, 3,500 on the endurance. But okay, we need all the ASW we can get. We might as well use it. We'll have it go here, here, here. Just doop, doop, doop. Set boundary 2, and I am grouping them together like I like to do with the destroyers. So that's 1, 2, 3. Alrighty. How you like me now? 1, 2 on the max react. Looks good. Looks good. And then we just have the ACM tending the mines here. Yeah, we've got it mined. You can barely see it, but there's a little dot there that lets us know this actually is mined. Let's go to Vancouver. See what's shaking in Vancouver. We're training. We're training. And we're training. Okay, that's all good. We have a local minesweeper. No, this is a mine layer. Okay, mine laying. Oh, this is the one we sent back from Dutch Harbor. We got to get some mines released from our stockpile, and then he'll fill back up, and we'll send him back out to Alaska somewhere. Now here is our local minesweeper. All right, this should be our ACM, the trapper that's tending the mines. Then what units do we have here? Vancouver Combat, Combat Vancouver. That is the Canada Command, the overall command here in Vancouver. Not the worst place to spend your war experience, hanging out in that beautiful town. That's it. There will be a lot of cargo that comes in and out of Vancouver. It's just not here this turn. What's happening in Cole Harbor? These guys again have really bad morale. The Canadians are pissed off, and I don't know what. I think we figured out why. And again, we think it's because I say we in the group chat. We think it's because the Canadians, you don't want them moving out into the Pacific because historically they very seldom did that. You can buy them. I don't know why they didn't just restrict them to Canada then. You can buy them out. 94 points would get you out there. But as it is, they just gave us cruddy morale. And I don't know if the, Canadians on the Western Front, I don't think historically had bad morale. So that's the best answer we could come up with. Okay, Cole Harbor looks fine. We've got a little ASW running here. It can't go out very far. It doesn't have a good endurance. Let's go back up and just look and make sure Calgary is supposed to have this. Yeah, the Calgary Stampede. Kamloops. I had never heard of Kamloops before this game, but I kind of like the name. It's a lot of fun. Again, we've got them on rest training to try to get this 12 morale up. I guess maybe if you were in Kamloops, you might have been hacked off. Where are these American troops going? They are going to Whittier. They're on the move. It's a march of 1,500 miles. Whittier is way north, and that's what Cole said. He said, let's just see if they can make the march. But we want something up there. I guess it was the one unit he could find we could send up there. Back at Winnipeg, we've got a base force here. No need to worry about that. Back in quote-unquote Canada, the whole damn country represented by one flag. This is really supposed to be Montreal, Quebec, the big production centers in Canada. We've got fighters training. All right. Nothing better than a trained Canadian pilot. Is that true? I don't know. But most Canadians are very even-keeled from my experience. So maybe that is true. Okay, these guys are all good. Calgary, Prince George. We've got a base force. That's fine. Looks like we got a base forces out to where we needed them. Bella Bella looks good. Aliford Bay. We do need to get some supply and fuel out here. Well, maybe not fuel. I don't think we're going to actually dock anything there, but get some more supply out. Now, Prince Rupert, as part of this huge rail line that should eventually be pulling a lot of that Canadian fuel down here, and then we can get it out. Now, most of it's going to Vancouver, it seems, at this point. But eventually, I think, well, I know, I may have played this game once or twice, that it will be coming to Prince Rupert as well. We have these AMs that are running ASW combat. All right, so they're kind of converted minesweepers. We have this cargo. Oh, these guys brought supply in here. And now we just have them sitting here. That's fine. That's fine. We'll just leave them here for now. Local minesweepers, right. We've got 5 ships in port, though. Okay, it's a bunch of these little AKLs. I think what I'll do is give them to this Corvette cargo. I think I will... There we go. Set this up as a cargo task force. A lot of supply here, and so what I think I'm going to do is just say cargo islands. We'll fill this up with supply. Now I could send these out as 3 separate. It's probably what I should do, but I don't. It doesn't matter that much. Let's load supply. And every time it comes back here, we'll go to a different one of these places. So for instance, I said Alliford Bay needs some. We'll send it out to Alliford Bay. It'll come back to Prince Rupert. We will stock it up again and we'll send it to Annette Island, or we'll send it to Sitka, so on, so forth. You get the idea. Speaking of Annette Island, let's take a peek. We've got some engineers here that are ticketed for Dutch Harbor, but we haven't gotten them there yet. And then this infantry force of all of 14 assault strength is where it's supposed to be. Sitka, we also have... Oh, this is the Mount McKinley. Now, why is this remaining on station? This was supposed to meet up, I believe, and take this base force to Cold Bay. Again, we need more transports up here. We've got, like, I've now identified, what, like 6 units that we need to move out here on the West Coast of both the U.S. and Canada. So we've got to get some transports up here somehow, some way. We will be getting more. They just kind of filter in a little slowly. Juneau, Alaska. Got a base force. That all looks good. Let's make sure it's set to combat mode. It's fine. Skagway. Not the most beautiful name for a town, but all right. We've got the 297th Infantry out here. 32 assault strength. They could be bought out, and maybe we will someday. Hopefully it won't be necessary. Combat Skagway. Wow, we're really stocked up well at Skagway. Right? Yucatan. I just like to say Yucatan. This is where that's supposed to be. Now, what did I say? We're getting, you know, how many, what are we into this? 51 minutes, and I haven't made it to Pearl Harbor yet. Stanley knew this was going to happen. Cordova, Valdez, or Valdez, right? The old Exxon Valdez. That's where that oil spill happened, I think, right? Maybe right out here. Seward. We've got these AMs, so mine layers, traditionally. We've got them doing ASW because they do have a 4 ASW. I think I've got the patrol zone already set up. These AKs came into, they came into Seward from Seattle. They are now heading back to Seattle. It's a continuous supply up here to Seward. Pretty well supplied right now. That looks pretty good. We've got a base force here. Combat Seward, combat Seward, combat Seward. All right. Let's look at Anchorage. Anchorage has the 11th USAAF Air Headquarters here. It also has the Alaska Air Defense Command. I think that's probably why Cole moved the 11th out to Seward, is because you've got 2 air commands here. Probably not necessary. Probably also doesn't matter. Combat Anchorage. Combat Anchorage. All right, we have really knocked a lot of this out. The one thing from this turn that I'll take from it is we've got to get transports in numbers up the U.S. West Coast and fill out some of these Alaskan islands with units that we have ticketed for there. We've got training for escort, training for ASW patrol, and then actual ASW patrol with that. Now, what's coming out of Anchorage? This is going to Dutch Harbor. All right, what is that? Hold on. What is that? Oh, it's loading fuel. All right. We'll call this fuel Dutch. And actually, it's a continuous supply fuel out to Dutch Harbor. That's good. Cargo Dutch Harbor. So we have another CS to Dutch Harbor, this time with supply. So we'll have Dutch Harbor all filled up with fuel and supply every 10 turns or so, however long it takes to get down to Dutch Harbor and back. This all looks good. No ships in port. All right. Let's look up here, just make sure. Now we've got this unit in Nome, I guess in case the Japanese set their sights to the Arctic. This is why I came up here. This base force needs to make it down to Adak Island. I do want to build up Adak, but I got to get a transport up here. You know, if we don't have transports, you can't move troops. That's what they say in the Navy. Is it? I don't know. But if I was in the Navy, that's what I would say. ASW, we got a search going here, actually. Let's turn off training. They're at 50 now. We'll bump up the search a little bit. What else is it? Kodak. We have a base force. We have some AA. We have some engineers. And we have an infantry force. 97 assault strength. Holy smokes. Don't try to take, what did I say, Kodak? Kodiak Island. Kodiak, like the bear. Right. Okay, let's go to Cold Bay. I'm having fun. We're just whipping through this. This is like 1/3 of the map that we're going to just cover in this episode. Of course, this isn't where the action is, so that helps. Cargo Cold Bay from Anchorage. Okay. And it's at Cold Bay. Imagine that. So we're getting Cold Bay supplied up. We need to get those units over here. Got to get those transports. Dutch Harbor. Wow, there's a lot going on at Dutch Harbor. We have got the base force here. Okay. Now this could go out into the Pacific. All right, we'll keep that in mind if we really need a base force somewhere. We've also got coastal artillery here. Whoops. Now we've got a lot of ships. Local mine, I would imagine. Yeah, that's what that is. ASW. All right, we've already got a patrol zone set up. Support subs. So we've got a submarine tender sitting here. I like that. And we've had our first sub, the Tuna. The Tuna is here, and it is fueling up. Look at all those Mark 14 torpedoes. Okay, well, it is what it is. Now, this could carry mines, but we don't want it to. All right, so we've gotten that all fixed up with our submarine tender. That's why you have submarine tenders. So he's gotten his torpedoes. He's ready to go back to South Hokkaido Island. And so let's go set a patrol zone for him. Set boundary 1. All right, let's go out here by Hokkaido. I said to the south, and so why don't we run it like here to here. To right up here. Wait a minute, did that make sense? I'm sorry. Let's do this one more time. Let's actually start here. So that's 1. Then I'll scoot 2 back a little bit. So that's 1. This will be, let's get right up, snuggle up against here. That's 2. And then let's do 3 where I had this before. So that'll be 3. All right, perfect. 1, 2, 3. All right, that looks good. Max React 1, that's the best we can do. Awesome. So the SS Tuna will be on its way. We also have a aircraft tender out here. If we want to bring some aircraft in, they can resupply there. We have this local cargo. We've got them set to Dutch Harbor because we'll be bringing things into Dutch Harbor. I think we can split this apart. Then we can resupply Adak. We can resupply Cold Bay from Dutch Harbor. So we'll make Dutch Harbor our centerpiece over here and, you know, kind of resupply everything else. Is that how I want to play it? You know what? Actually, I'm going to do something different. After that beautiful speech, I'm going to send that back to Anchorage. Set that home port to Anchorage, and when it goes to Anchorage, I'm going to set that up into 2 or 3 smaller task forces and have them do continuous supply out to those islands and just do it that way. I think that's maybe the better way to go. We actually need some supply here at Dutch Harbor. Okay. Now then. P. Warner, how's it going, buddy? How are you? Stanley, that's right. Yeah, the map is a little more correct, right? I think a lot of people looking up there, Alaska and Japan being that close together would say, what? Because that is not how it's usually represented on a standard wall map or something. But, you know, they've tried to take the globe and make it proper. I like it. I like it. Now, at the end of this episode, what I want to do is go fix all of these submarines. We almost had an NC-17 to R-rated moment at the resolution of last turn when I lost a couple of submarines by foolishly bringing them back into the Philippines, into Manila, with Japanese bombing taking place. I have written personal letters to the mothers of those poor sailors, those digital sailors. That was just a mistake on my part. It happens. In a game this big, I hope that I don't make that many, but that was a mistake on my part. So what's going to be the best way to do this? Well, that's a great question. Let's click off of all ships. Let's go to submarines. So we can see every dang submarine in the game. There's the Pickerel. The Pickerel's got some damage. And the S-38 has some damage. All right. We really don't need to deal with the Dutch subs. So that really means that we can click off all nationalities and just do U.S. Navy subs. Now you see Army lit up, but there's no subs in the Army, or at least there wasn't last I checked. So those are actually U.S. Navy. Now it's lit up correctly, but when I go over it with my cursor, for some reason it pops that up. But now you can see it, U.S. Navy. So this is every U.S. Navy sub. I think the best and fastest way to do this is to just go to them. Where is it? This one's near Midway. Okay, so I've found the location. Wait a minute. Actually, I've done this before. Hold on. I swear I've done this before. All right, it takes us out to our location. I really would rather not get off the screen, but we're going to have to. So we'll go to the Argonaut, for instance. Okay, it's already set to Pearl Harbor. Perfect. Now we'll have to go back up here. The Argonaut, we go to the Narwhal. All right, where's the Narwhal? The Narwhal is right up here off of Rabaul is where we're going to put it. So where do we want to send it? That I'm actually, yeah, I'm going to put it into Brisbane. Okay, so that one's already done for us. Now you'll notice in this game when you go back up to the database, it keeps the exact same database up. Thank God. I wouldn't want to do that search every damn time. This is out by Johnston. Where do we have it going? Wow, we've got to go into truck and then to Brisbane. Okay, well, its home port should be Brisbane then. Look at all these Americans heading to Brisbane. Okay, so that is the Nautilus. The Cachalot. Where is the Cachalot? It is out here in the Marshall Islands. Should go to Pearl Harbor. We do have it to Pearl Harbor. And on we go. The Cuttlefish. Gosh, isn't that cute? This should be another one that is going back to Pearl Harbor as its home. It is indeed. We have it set up in a patrol zone, I think around Truck, maybe. But yeah, it should come back to Pearl Harbor, and that's how we have it. The Dolphin, 296. The Dolphin, Sub-Patrol Brisbane. We've got that going to Brisbane. Well, I guess there were more of these set up correctly than I thought. The Porpoise, that's up here near... Oh, this is near the Japanese home islands. I'm sorry. We've got this going all the way back to Pearl Harbor. Okay. Yeah, I think that is the best place to go. The Shark. The Shark is, this will probably be going back to Manila. Now this is, you know, on top to the north of the larger island of Borneo, directly above North Borneo. Where do we have that going in? Manila. All right, so this is the stuff we need to change. Now the question is, where do you have it go? I'm going to have it go to Surubaya. Surubaya. Right, Stanley? That better be right, because if it's not, I give. I give, man. That was the shark. Surubaya. That sounds right. I think that's the one time I got it right. I think I was like, yeah, that's how you do it. Okay, this will probably be going also into Manila. I think this is going to Surubaya as well now for a little bit. That's a Dutch port, but it can handle these subs. So that was the Tarpon. Don't say that wrong. Perch. The Perch. It's up here. Where's its home? Manila. Surubaya. Surubaya. List all task forces. Okay. Is that the way you do it, Stanley? Look at you, becoming a pro at this game. Okay, so we did that. And what are you saying? Search for sub-patrol? Oh, I see. Okay, so all, no. Sub-ops. Okay. Got it. Will this just pop up the, let's see. Ah, I see what you're saying. Okay, so I think the ones going to Manila will send them all to Surubaya, and this will be an easy way to do it. Way to go, Stanley! My gosh, I take back everything I said. Pearl Harbor, I like that. Very nice, my friend. Brisbane, that was the fourth one down. I got to keep track. Let's go to 274. That's going to Dutch Harbor. 275, Pearl Harbor. 294 is going to Pearl. 295 to Pearl. 296, Brisbane. 297, Brisbane. 298, Dutch Harbor. Wow, we've got a few of them going to Dutch Harbor now. 419, Surubaya. 421. I don't think I want that going to Batavia. We'll take them all back into Surubaya here. Now, hopefully that didn't get me off my... No, it didn't. Gosh darn it, Stanley, you did it, my friend. 421. There we go. Okay. 450. There we go. That's the stuff we're looking for. Surubaya. We will not make that mistake again, and hopefully in future games, I really never make it again. Wow, look at this, Stanley. God damn. Excuse my language. That's what, 450? Okay. When I say 450, I'm talking about the task force number. The game very nicely put them all in order here, so we're just going straight down. Manila. So this will be somewhat temporary. If we can get Townsville built up into larger than a size 4 or a 4 or larger port, we could also take them to Townsville. Same with Darwin. I'd like to have a tender there if they're going into one of the smaller ports, or we can take them back to Brisbane. That's a long ways around, but okay. 451, 452, they're both going to Pearl Harbor. 453, Pearl Harbor. Oh gosh, how many more do we have, Stanley? 454, gosh, this is a lot faster way to do it though. 455. Brilliant. 456. Wow, so we only had a few left that were going back to Manila. Dutch Harbor. Surubaya. 461. 462. 463. Yep, I had already... Oh, these are all Dutch subs. That's why. I was like, yeah, I'd already set these up. Yeah, you already set up the Dutch ones, dummy. Was that 464, 465, 467? Yeah, these are all Dutch, I believe. Well, I might as well go through them all. But I'm not going to make you sit and watch that as I go through every sub-patrol. We don't have that much further to go, do we? Well, maybe. I'm not gonna have you hold on while I go through every damn sub-patrol in the game. But thank you, Stanley. Use next task force and watch the home base, then no. Yeah, I could go through it. You're right. Oh, actually, that makes sense. That makes sense. I could go to, while we're here, 467, and then you can go to... Oh, I don't have next task force when I pull that up. Well, that's fine. The way I'm doing it now is much faster. So thank you for that. And thank you for dropping by here for War in the Pacific. If you're new, we've had a lot of new people come in with War in the East too. Generally, I do these War in the Pacifics at 10 a.m. Eastern Pacific Coast time on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then we resolve the turn at the same time on Sunday. That's always a lot of fun. We do a lot of chat on the Sunday one and talk about the results and whatnot. So yeah, drop by. It's a lot of, this is a great game. And just because we're a lot of turns into it, don't feel like you can't get it. I always set up task forces. I always talk about why we're doing what we're doing. There's a long ways to go in this game. We're only 13 days into it, so don't feel like you've missed it all. You certainly have not. There's a lot of war to go. A lot of war. So anyway, I'm going to jump back on here in about 10 or 15 minutes and do War in the East 2 again. I do believe I now have these settings. Man, War in the Pacific, this was just smooth as silk, so maybe I've got it all figured out. Other than the fact, I guess I'm a little wider. Hey, I wanted to look like I have a stronger chin. If I, to the, extent I look fat, well, maybe I am. I don't know. Maybe I am. Maybe I don't see myself correctly, and that's what I really look like. Who knows? Anyway, thank you guys so much. This has been Strategy Gaming Dojo. I'll talk to you next time. Have a good one, guys.